Hey vinyl community, welcome to a brand new episode of RB's Vinyl Corner. And today I'm going to return to reviewing FTD Vinyl. And for this special episode, I picked Elvis, Tickle Me. So shifting through my channel, I realized that I've been doing this already for 8 years. And you might wonder where the time goes. It flies, it really flies. And in the last 5 subsequent years, I've been coming up with a lot of videos. And a lot of those videos were FTD related. But the last one is already a couple of years ago. And it's certainly not intentional that I waited so long. But it's because the last couple of years there have been so many interesting releases concerning Elvis that it kind of went to the background a little bit. So the FTD label have been focusing on special releases for almost 20 years. It's a sub-label of RCA that's really focusing on releasing stuff based on real Elvis collectors. So everything they release has like a limited run. And they focus on soundboards, concerts that have never been released, material that's never been released, special things like alternate takes and all that stuff. While at the same time, RCA, Sony, or Legacy, we're just continuing releasing normal albums and more like a regular stuff. But in the last couple of years, they have also picking up special things, like special live concerts that had never been released before for the masses. And also stuff with alternate takes. And they did this to commemorate on certain big events in his life. So we have seen the 50th anniversary stuff surrounding his 68 comeback special with a huge box set, with a wonderful vinyl release. We've seen 50th anniversary of the famous Memphis sessions in 1969 with another great box set and another great vinyl release. And then they were also commemorating on his return to the stage in Las Vegas with yet another box set. That's the way it is material that came to celebrate the 50th anniversary. And now we have seen the Nashville recordings with special box sets, collecting all kinds of outtakes and that stuff. So they were picking that up as well. And in the meantime, FTD is continuing their releases as well. So it's really hard to keep up with that. And now also the latter years of Elvis Presley's recording are entering this public domain. There are a lot of other labels and bootleg labels that are diving on all this material and coming up with their takes on different Elvis eras. So there's a huge amount of stuff that's coming up and a huge amount of stuff that has been released already, and it's really hard to keep up with that. And so it's also really hard to keep up coming up with videos to review all this stuff. Because in the meantime, I also like to talk about the other releases and also about other stuff. So, but I realized that my FTD videos are actually the ones that attracted the most views. So I thought that to be loyal also to my followers, it would be a good idea to return to doing some FTD reviews. And that's why I picked another great FTD vinyl today. This one was released last year, and it was basically the anniversary, the 55th anniversary of the movie Tickle Me. Now, so before we're going to go into the contents of this wonderful album, let me go into some of the history of this movie. Then you will understand why there was never actually a soundtrack album for that movie. So Tickle Me was a movie that was released in 1965, and it was the first, and it was the only one that Elvis did for Allied Artists Pictures. And by the time he went to make that movie, Allied Artists Pictures was on the verge of bankruptcy. And so they had to heavily cut on expensive for making this movie. So in order to cut on those expenses, they decided to not record soundtrack material for this movie. Instead of that, they did something which they had never done before with any Elvis movies, and also they wouldn't do after, is they would come up with songs that were previously already been recorded and released through different albums. And it's fun if you think about this. Because of this, it actually produced one of the most exciting soundtracks, because the song choice and material they came up with is excellent stuff. Because they digged in albums such as Elvis is Back, Something for Everybody, Potluck, and a couple of other songs that had been added to previous soundtracks as bonus tracks. Now, the movie literally saved this film company because it was a huge box office success, and it actually also delivered Elvis his first award, which was a Golden Laurel Award for his excellent performance in a musical movie. So actually everything about this movie was pretty positive, and to be honest, it's also a real fun movie to watch. Now, because all these songs were already previously released on previous albums, they decided not to come up with a soundtrack album for this. But what they did do is come up with a extended play, or an AP, with 4 songs that were pictured in the movie as well. And then in the UK, they even came up with a second volume of Tickle Me AP, consisting of songs that were in the US released as singles. Now, it's pretty interesting if you think about it, because now what they did, the FTD label did, is put all those songs that appeared in the movie, which were 9 songs, and then in addition to that, a couple of bonus tracks, completely in tradition with the soundtracks in the 60s, they come up with Tickle Me. Now let's have a look at the contents of this album. First, we have the cover artwork. And first of all, just take a short moment to look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? Look at the colors. It's amazing. And the whole artwork here really gives you that feel of an original soundtrack that could have been released in 1965. The whole layout and the artwork really breeds that feel that they also had back in those days. Now, in the back, it's also like very similar to some of the other soundtracks that we've seen throughout the 60s. Pictures from the movie, some of the credits from the movie, some of the actors that starred in the movie, and of course we have the song and track listing here. Now the track listing is pretty interesting. Again, like I said before, the movie had 9 songs that were taken from different Elvis releases. And now we see them here together, collected together, which makes it a very, very exciting soundtrack. So the songs that they came up with in the movie were It's a Long, Lonely Highway, It Feels So Right, Such an Easy Question, Dirty, Dirty Feeling, Put the Blame on Me, I'm Yours. Now, I'm Yours is interesting because the original version of I'm Yours had like a lot of vocal harmonies, and it also had a narration part. And for the movie, they used a version where they took out that narration part, and they also took out the vocal harmonies. And it's absolutely fantastic to listen to this, because it really highlights Elvis's voice. So I really, really love this undubbed single master of I'm Yours. It's really great. And then we have Night Rider from the Potluck album. On side 2, we have I Feel That I've Known You Forever and Slowly But Surely. And that rounds out all the songs that have actually been used in the movie. And then, as special bonus songs, the songs that are here were actually songs that Colonel Parker suggested for use in the movie, but were eventually rejected in favor of the other songs that appeared in the movie. But completely in tradition with Elvis soundtracks in the 60s, they put those songs as bonus tracks on this soundtrack. And those bonus tracks are, just for old time's sake, gonna get back home somehow. There's always me. Make me know it. And something blue. And then, as a special bonus, they also have a radio spot. And there are actually 2 radio spots included on this double vinyl set. Then, if we're going to flip over to side 3, there we have the outtakes. Completely in tradition with all the other FTD releases. Of course, we have the full album and then kind of like the making of the album. Now, of course, this was not a single session. This is the songs were derived from different albums, so also the outtakes were derived from different sessions. But we have take 1 of Such an Easy Question. We have an alternate, a remake of Knight Rider. We have takes 1 and 2 of Put the Blame on Me. Take 1 of Dirty Dirty Feeling. Take 2 of It Feels So Right. I Feel That I've Known You Forever. Take 3. Slowly but Surely. Take 1. And then again another radio spot. And then we have, to conclude this whole set, the complete side 4 has mono masters, and I love that stuff. It really sounds amazing. Now, these mono masters are actually both APs that were released, like Volume 1 that was released in the US and Volume 2 that was released in the UK, and in the right track order. So we have mono masters of I Feel That I've Known You Forever, Slowly But Surely, Knight Rider, and Put the Blame on Me, which would make up the first AP. And then we have Dirty Dirty Feeling, Feels So Right, An Easy Question, It's a Long Lonely Highway, and to conclude with an undubbed single master again of I'm Yours, but in this case the mono version. And that basically is the content of this album. And let me tell you again, the sound of this, like we already know from all the other FTD releases, is really, really good. Really, really, really good. So there you go. So this is Follow the Dreams, Tickle Me. And of course, it wouldn't be FTD if they didn't have a great gatefold sleeve. Now if you open this up, you can see all the memorabilia from the movie. So we have set pictures, we have like advertisement stuff, we have more information about where all the songs are recorded and on which other albums they originally appeared. So there you go, the original artwork for the original AP, and then here we have the artwork for the UK Volume 2 AP. And of course, I'm going to show you close-ups of everything on this sleeve throughout my video. So this is Tickle Me. Now let's have a look at the vinyl. So, alright, now here's another thing I just want to mention a little bit, is that one of the nice things about the FTD records used to be the fact that they were also having these wonderful printed inner sleeves. Like the first couple of years, every FTD vinyl release would have this very nice, sturdy and glossy inner sleeves on photo paper with a lot of really rich colored pictures and a lot of other memorabilia and background information. And somehow, on a certain point, they decided to stop doing that. And by stop doing that, they actually took something away that attracted me to these releases in the first place. Now I continued buying these records, but I still think it's really a pity that they did this. And I have no idea why. Now, funny that it's RCA, Sony Legacy, with their latter releases, actually put their records into printed inner sleeves. So I'm not really sure why FTD doesn't pick it up anymore. But that's just a minor complaint. So they put their records in this just plain white polybags, and because this album represents mid-60s, it's of course, it comes with the black RCA Victor label with the nipper on it. And I always loved this label. Actually, the FTD records were the first time ever since I was collecting Elvis records that I got records with this label. Now, if you live in the US, it's very common. You have seen this label probably many, many times because they were using this label throughout the 60s. And every time when you bump into a original pressing or even a second or third edition LP, chances are that you have this label in your collection. But in Europe, they were not allowed to use this label because the copyright of this Nipper logo was with his master's voice. So in Europe, they were actually using black labels with a different RCA logo. So if you bump into records like used records here in Holland or in Europe on flea markets or in record stores, whatever, chances are that you bump into one of the European releases, and those will not have this Nipper logo. So it's actually pretty cool that through the FTD releases we actually also have this label, because to be truthful, I love this label. So this is side A and side B. As you can see, it's stereo. Now if you're gonna take the other record, by the way, it's 180 grams, so they are really heavy and really strong and sturdy, so I like that. So side 3, and then we have side 4, and there you can see the monaural logo, because all the songs on side 4 are actually in mono. Well, what more can I say about this album? Sound quality, amazing. Song flow, amazing. Song choice, amazing. One of the better Elvis Presley movie soundtracks. For the first time on a vinyl album, not on LP, but on a vinyl album. Tickle Me from Follow That Dream. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave some comments if you want to discuss some of this stuff. If you didn't already do so, it would be highly appreciated if you would subscribe to my channel. This way you will never miss any more of my videos. And other than that, I really hope to see all of you in my next video that's probably coming up next week. Until then, take care.